Welcome to another video, guys. Today we're going to be talking about all the different places you could actually be getting yourself extra stats for your champions, because I see so many people actually thinking it's hard to reach some of these thresholds, but really, if you know where to look for these stats, it's actually not that hard. Like so many times some guys start off with build your champion with 100,000 HP, 300 speed, and so on and so forth, and people are like, that's impossible. But no, it just needs to be happening through different places, and in this video I'm going to cover all of those areas of the game, so you have a better idea of how you can be pulling this off. I hope you find the video helpful, and if you do, would be awesome if you drop a like and subscribe to the channel. And don't forget you can check me out live on stream each Tuesday and Thursday, where I do free account takeovers for you guys. And if you want to support the channel for free, you can download the game from my premium download link and start right the right way with 4 amazing champions as soon as you start. And you're also gonna have 48 hours to use the promo code section, and you still have time to get yourself Ezio just by logging in for 7 days. But now, let's get into the video. Obviously, one of the best ways to get your champion stats would be through their gear, but that is literally just the icing on the cake. There's so much more things you could be doing in order to get yourself extra layers of stats. And the first thing we should be mentioning here would be, for instance, ascending your gear, guys. Ascending gear is very essential, and I see so many people ignoring this, either because they don't have the means to actually get those resources, or just because they don't know they can be getting all these stats. But yes, you could be ascending yourself a lot of extra stats. For instance, a boot can have 12 extra speed, for instance. A chest can be bringing you 20 extra % attack, defense, or HP, let's say. A glove can give you 10 extra crit rate, or 20 extra crit damage, and so on and so forth. And this is something that you really need to be getting in order to actually get yourself the biggest, best gear you possibly could. And same can be said for the amulet. You always want to get yourself crit damage ascension on your amulet if you want to be really hitting as hard as you can. The top row items can also ascend into extra stats, but they're only flat attack, defense, or HP, so that's not a big deal. But yeah, gauntlets, chest, and boots, always try to ascend them into good ascensions, because those can really give you extra stuff. When you go to the menu, you can actually see exactly what each item could be ascending into, and yes, like I said, a boot could be ascending into speed, which would be best, but it's also not the worst to get yourself extra HP or attack or defense, depending on the nuker you're building. So there's that. Same thing goes with the gauntlet, but here we also have the added benefit of having the chance to get crit rate or crit damage, which would be best for nukers. We can't get speed in here, however. And as for chest, the best thing would be to get yourself extra attack, HP, or defense for nukers. As for other champions, you might want to get a little bit of extra accuracy or resistance, but it will be happening random, and you do have chaos dust now, with which you could be swapping it over into something a little bit more beneficial. With the amulet, of course, crit damage would be the best you could be ascending into. The others are kind of whatever. And with the banner, again, you could be getting yourself a little bit of extra accuracy or resistance. The flat HP attack or defense, they're not that amazing, but it's something that could happen. While we're on the subject of artifacts, you also need to be glyphing out your items, guys. Don't just waste your glyphs on any old item, though. Like, try to be using your good glyphs on your champions that really need those stats. Like, you're not gonna start using something like rank 6 glyphs on a support champion for attack, for instance. You're not gonna go ahead and give your best, fastest glyph on your nukers, that kind of stuff. You really have to have a good strategy behind glyphing out your gear, and you gotta be saving the good glyphs for the really good gear and the okay glyphs for the okay gear. So this is another thing why it's so important to actually always farm your faction wars, no matter how good or bad your current faction wars team is. You're still gonna be able to farm at least level 1 glyphs, so do yourself a favor and farm yourself a ton of glyphs. You're never gonna have enough glyphs. You can always spread them across your gear, and you're gonna be happier with the result. Another thing that can give you a lot of extra stats would be your relic, which is relatively new, one of the newest pieces of extra customization you could be doing for your items. And yes, getting yourself a ton of extra crit damage, attack, defense could be good depending on the champion you're doing. Getting yourself a ton of extra speed could be huge for your speed leads, for your CC champions, that kind of stuff. And even just some modest stat boost would be very worth it for some champions. Like, for instance, a champion like Rector Draft that really loves HP, you might just give her a relic that doesn't make too much sense for her. In my current case, this does make a lot of sense, but it also is great because this gives HP. But we can also just as well give her something like Rod of Blasphemy just for the sake of the extra HP this thing gives, and that is still gonna make some good amount of sense on a champion like her. So even if you don't have the best relic for a champion, you can still just supplement their stats a little bit with just any old relic if it makes sense. Another absolutely huge aspect when it comes down to getting yourself extra stats would be the blessings. I feel a lot of people neglect how important blessings are in the game right now, guys. Like, I just just opened myself my first 6-star Mythical blessing for Calamitas, and look at how much stats this thing is giving, guys. 11,500 HP, 900 attack, 750 defense, plus 45 freaking crit damage, 90 res, 90 accuracy, 20 speed. This is really insane, and these stats basically come down with the amount of stars you get. HP on 1 star, you gain the attack as well on 2, defense after that, and so on and so forth, all the way up to 6 stars, where it gives you extra 20 speed for your mythicals, 15 for legendaries, 10 for epics, and so on and so forth. And this really does add up a lot of stats. This is why it's so easy to actually get yourself accuracy thresholds once you start getting yourself things like blessings and such, and you literally don't even care about adding yourself an accuracy banner on, let's say, your nukers. They're still gonna have 300 accuracy easy, just because you have yourself all of these extra bonuses from here and there. So yeah, nowadays it's literally not just enough to open yourself a champion. If you don't open yourself at least a 4-star blessing for that champion, you're probably not going to be using that champion to its full potential for quite a while. Not to mention, blessings also give you a ton of extra stuff, but you already knew about that. But I really do believe people forget how much extra stats this thing gives, and people are like, why is my champion not hitting as hard as X, Y, and Z? And people in the comments say, well, my champion has this stat, that stat, and they show you a picture and they have a freaking 6-star blessing on the champion and you have literally 0. So how the hell are you supposed to compete? Like, this is more than 2 items worth of stats on this guy right here. While we're still here, we can also talk about Masteries a little bit. Obviously, you guys know Masteries give you a little bit of extra crit rate, a little bit of extra crit damage, and so on and so forth. You can get yourself things like Lore of Steel and whatnot. You can literally get yourself a ton of extra flat HP, flat defense, flat crit damage in the end, and so on and so forth. So if you don't have your champion fully mastered already, your stats are still not going to be looking as some of the other champions you are seeing against you, and you're still going to be asking yourself, why is your champion hitting not as hard as others? Next up is something most people already figured out, but yes, affinity bonuses are going to help you big time. Once you max out your Great Hall, that is going to give you a great stat boost, getting yourself 80 extra accuracy just by Great Hall, 80 extra resistance, a ton of extra crit damage, and obviously 20% attack, HP, and defense. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Is definitely pretty huge. But also don't forget, it matters what kind of rank you are in Arena, and if you're in Gold 5 Arena, that is gonna give you plus 22 separate extra defense, HP, and attack just because you are in Gold 5. You can read about these bonuses in the little info button here, but yeah, if you're in Gold 5, you're getting yourself all of these bonuses. If you manage to get yourself in Platinum, that's where you're gonna get even 25 instead of 22. But honestly, Gold 5 is more than enough for most people. Even I'm not pretending I can actually stay in Platinum and actually benefit from these bonuses. As soon as I hit Platinum, I get hit right back down to 5, so there's that. But yeah, do what you can to farm yourself Classic Arena ASAP. It's literally possible for you to be in Gold 5 Arena in your first month in the game, as long as you just built yourself an okay Arena team. It really is that easy. You can literally stay the entire time with a single one-man defense, and you are gonna get to keep on fighting one-man defense teams a lot of the time. Right now, not so much, because there's a tournament going around and I'm kind of in the middle of it. But yeah, I've literally had a one-man defense team. Like right now, I literally don't have an any-man defense team, just a bunch of rares, just so I can get myself a lot of extra easy fights. And my battle log defense looks like this, so my attack log can look like this, guys. It really doesn't take that much to be getting yourself tons and tons of wins in Arena, just like that. I do have a detailed video about how you can be doing this both for Classic and for 3v3 Arena. It definitely is worth it. But while we're talking about the Great Call, it's also worth mentioning the area bonuses, guys. Here is where the real money is at. Here you can get yourself literally an extra couple of items worth of stats, again, if you have been farming yourself Live Arena. I know Live Arena is definitely very painful, especially once you're starting out, but I have been trying to do myself 10 arena battles each day, almost always, and this is the result right now. I have my Faction Wars fully decked out, because Faction Wars hard really does take a lot. I've also helped myself in Fire Knight a lot, because hard 10 was pretty rough for me for the Marius missions, but 20 extra speed definitely helps big time. The extra 80 accuracy also helped me big time back in the day when I was struggling against the landing frost debuffs against the Fire Knight and whatnot. Back in the day, I also loaded up my Doom Tower a lot before I started managing to actually clear it easily. I wasted way too much in Demon Lord, not gonna lie. I fully decked out my Hydra, which nowadays is kind of a negative, because, for instance, my Titus is not smacking as hard as he could be because he's getting 20 extra HP, which, as most of you know, is not a great idea. Before I got my solo Sand Devil and Nyria also blasted a lot of Sand Devil bonuses. Yeah, I was basically all over the place, left and right. And right now I'm still loading up my Curse City because I have nothing left to use my Crescents for, and Curse City still is quite challenging on some of its endgame levels, so there's that. But yeah, what I'm trying to say is definitely farm yourself Live Arena and you're gonna get yourself a lot of extra stats on a lot of extra areas. It takes a lot of work, but it kind of is worth it in the end of the day. If you want to get yourself endgame results, you gotta get yourself the endgame stats. Another really important place you could be getting yourself extra stats would be through the Faction Guardians, guys. Your Faction Guardians really need to get fully loaded before you start thinking about empowering champions, before you start thinking about feeding champions, and so on and so forth. At least for the rares and the epics, it definitely is worth it to have yourself all of the bonuses, and of course it's worth it for the legendaries, but that is definitely gonna take a while. Even I'm not even halfway through on some of these factions. I literally still do not have a single fully 10-10-10 decked out faction. I am close on a couple, but definitely still plenty of dupes needed for me to actually start getting all of the extra stats. And look at this. This is literally gonna give you 10 extra HP, attack, 30 accuracy res, 10 defense, and 10 extra speed, which is really where the money's at. So again, if you actually get your Faction Guardians decked out, this is gonna give you literally almost a full item's worth of extra stats, which is huge. So do what you can to fill this out before you start feeding champions, before you start empowering champions, and so on and so forth. And that is gonna give you a lot of extra stats, which is gonna help you, especially in all of that BS restricted content out there like Secret Rooms, Cursed Cities, and Tronos, and so on and so forth. And of course, the last thing on the list would be empowering champions, and this for mythicals and legendaries, you gotta be really careful before you start doing this thing, guys. Like, empowering mythicals, leave that to the Krakens, really. Personally, I can empower my Lady Mikage, but what's that gonna do for me? Like, it doesn't even give speed for me here. It just gives a little bit of HP, attack, defense, accuracy, and resistance, and I kind of don't care about those stats on Mikage. All I care about is the speed. I guess the accuracy is fine and whatnot, but you get it. It would be much better for me to actually hold on to her like this, keep her versatile, and if someday a cracked out tactic with double Mikage somehow happens, well, I'm gonna have myself one. If it doesn't, I'm not missing out on too much, honestly. But yeah, empowering your champions definitely is gonna give you a lot of extra stats. For me, I am definitely empowering so many epics, and that really does give a lot of extra stats. Like, I'm just gonna show you all of the extra stats for this epic we're gonna be getting. Look at this. Plus 10 extra speed, 40% HP, attack and defense, 40 accuracy and resistance, and even plus 5 crit rate, guys. Plus 5 freaking crit rate and 15 crit damage. Honestly, I was today years old when I realized we can actually gain crit rate like this. I'm not even joking. This kind of opened my eyes. I literally did not know this up until this moment. I knew about the speed, I knew about all the flat stats, but the crit rate and crit damage, for some reason, I have been blind to them for all these years in the game. So far, I haven't literally empowered a single legendary on my account. I'm just hoarding them until I can fill out my Faction Guardians. But yeah, once you start empowering, you're gonna get yourself a lot of extra stats on some of your champions. But only do this after your Faction Guardians are full, or if we're talking about somebody like Marius, for instance. Like, if you can empower your Marius, God knows it's gonna be worth it, because this guy you're literally gonna use everywhere. But still, you gotta have a very good reason to be feeding yourself a freaking legendary champion, so be very careful doing that. Do let me know in the comments exactly how much stats you are gonna get with a +4 empowerment on your champion, by the way, guys. For mythical and for legendary, I can't find any sources, but I'm expecting it's gonna be something like +20 speed, and again, +40% HP defense, attack, 40 accuracy and resistance. I don't know, it feels like it's gonna be more than the epics for sure, but I don't have the source for this, so do let me know in the comments, would appreciate it. So yeah, guys, I think these are all the niche sources of extra damage and stats you could be getting for your champions. Do let me know in the comments if I missed something important, or if you think I should have added something else. I tried to keep it as straightforward as I could, but it was kind of a long topic now, wasn't it? Would be awesome if you drop a like and subscribe to the channel, and don't forget you can check me out live on stream each Tuesday and Thursday, where I do my best to give you guys free account takeovers. If you want to support the channel for free, download Raid from my premium download link and start Raid the right way, and you can also check out the channel memberships if you feel generous. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm Chris05, and I'll see you in my next video or stream.